Every single day, we are just swimming in data. It's in our news headlines, our app notifications, market trends, you name it. But let's be real. How much of it can we actually trust? In this explainer, we're going to peel back the curtain and look at the intense journey that turns a messy pile of raw signals into a reliable, truly actionable insight. So how does that actually happen? What's the secret sauce that turns a chaotic jumble of numbers into evidence that's so solid you could bet your entire company's future on it? Well, it's not magic, and it's definitely not just gathering stuff. It's a very deliberate transformation. And that transformation, it's a journey. A really specific 4-step process that takes us from that chaos of raw information to a single, powerful, and trustworthy insight. So let's walk that path together, one step at a time. Okay, so our journey doesn't start out in the field digging for data. No, it starts at the drawing board. This is step 1, creating the strategic blueprint. Because honestly, without a map, you're not collecting data, you're just wandering around in the dark. This blueprint, this map, has 3 really critical parts. First up, justification. You have to be crystal clear on why you even need this data. What's the point? Second is key sourcing, figuring out the absolute best, most reliable places to get it. And finally, documentation, planning out exactly how you're going to capture everything so the whole process is transparent from beginning to end. Now, here's a really cool concept in this planning stage. It's called data yield. Just think of it like your data return on investment, or ROI. The whole goal is to make sure that the incredible insight you're hoping to get is actually worth all the time, money, and brainpower you're about to pour into collecting it. And the one fundamental principle, the North Star guiding this entire blueprint, is a commitment to zero bias. This means you're designing your plan from the get-go to actively fight against any distortions, whether that's in how you pick your sources or even how you phrase your questions. All right, with our map in hand, we are ready for step 2, the gathering process. This is the fun part, the expedition phase. This is where we actually head out into the world to find and capture the information we so carefully planned for. The official term for this is data acquisition. And trust me, the keyword here is systematic. This is not like casting some wide random fishing net and just hoping you catch something good. No, it's a precise, super organized process of getting information from very specific places, whether they're digital, analog, or even out in the environment. So on this data expedition, you've basically got 2 main paths you can take. You can collect primary data, which is brand new, first-hand evidence you gather yourself to answer your specific question, or you can use secondary data, which is basically pre-existing information that someone else already collected for their own reasons. Now, primary collection is very hands-on, right? It could mean doing deep dive interviews, sending out super detailed questionnaires, or just going out and directly observing something in the real world. Or maybe running focus groups to get those rich, juicy insights that raw numbers just can't give you. But not all data gathering is manual. You've got data logging, which is the automated side of the coin. Think about a server that's tracking every single website click, or a tiny sensor recording the temperature every second. It's a continuous, machine-generated fire hose of data about what's happening in real time. So let's move on to step 3. And this is a part of the journey that's so crucial but often gets overlooked, refining raw information. We've come back from our expedition with bags full of data, but it's a mess. Now we have to turn that messy pile into something clean and actually usable. And the single biggest challenge at this stage? Unstructured data. I'm talking about all the messy, free-form stuff, long paragraphs of text from an interview, chaotic social media comments, hours and hours of audio files. The real gold is often hidden in here, but man, it takes a ton of work to make it something you can actually analyze. So this refinery process is absolutely vital. It kicks off with data entry, just getting everything into a nice, neat, structured format. Then comes the really painstaking part, data cleansing. This is where you meticulously hunt down and get rid of all the errors, typos, and duplicate entries. And the final critical step is normalization, which is all about getting everything on a level playing field. Data normalization really is the big goal here. It means making sure every single piece of data is measured on the same scale in the same format. You can't compare apples and oranges. Well, normalization is the process that turns everything into apples. It's what lets you make fair comparisons and get your data ready for some serious, sophisticated analysis. Once it's all refined and sparkling clean, this high-value data gets moved into a data warehouse. You can think of this as a super secure, centralized vault where all this great information can be stored safely, mixed with other data, and used for historical analysis long into the future. And finally, we get to step 4. But this isn't so much a single step as it is a guiding rule that oversees the entire journey, the quality mandate. This is how we make absolutely sure that the final insight is rock solid and trustworthy. A huge part of this is something called data baselining. Think of it like when you were a kid and your parents measured your height against a door frame. You need that first mark. That's your baseline to see how much you've grown later on. In data, it's the same idea. You create a reference point so you can accurately spot trends and measure change over time. Next up is data validation. This is where you really kick the tires and check your work. You're running statistical tests, you're cross-checking it against totally different sources. You are verifying that it's accurate, that it's complete, and that it's actually relevant to the question you asked way back in step 1. And one of the most powerful tools in your quality toolkit is triangulation. The idea is actually pretty simple. Don't ever rely on just one single source of data. Instead, you combine multiple, different methods or data sets because, hey, if your interviews, your survey data, and your market analysis all point to the exact same conclusion, your confidence in that finding just skyrockets. Ultimately, this whole journey is built on one core idea, and it's summed up perfectly here. High-fidelity data collection demands rigor. This isn't just a casual thing you do. It's a serious, disciplined, rigorous process from start to finish. So from that first strategic blueprint all the way to a final validated insight, that's the data journey. And it really leaves us with one final thought. The next time you see a statistic, a chart, or some data point, will you ask not just what it says, but what kind of journey it took to get to you?